Welcome to the State of the Beat. My name is Cassidy Cooper, and this beat has been dedicated to the existential crisis of climate change and to the steps, or lack thereof, that our nation and the world are taking to face it. The problems aren't new, but there has either been a lack of political will or the popular support to face them until recently. Susan Fisher-Wilhelm, a research manager at the California Energy Commission, when speaking to the Los Angeles Times about addressing the climate change issue back in the 1980s, said, "We had at least 100 years before it became existential. And now, 30 years later, we're recognizing that it all happened a lot more quickly than we anticipated." The existential crisis Ms. Wilhelm mentions is the increasingly dire-looking apocalyptic scenario humans will face without a dramatic lifestyle change. Something bigger than switching out your charcoal barbecue for gas, or mixing in vegetables with your beef, as was suggested in a New York Times article by Eduardo Garcia and John Schwartz. In Europe, cities are trying to move away from a focus on vehicular movement and make themselves more pedestrian and cyclist friendly. But are Americans ready to give up the gasoline? It is said that humans are more set in their ways as we age. So in the case of this type of change, we must look to the youth to lead, especially as they are the ones to inherit this mess. And the youth, they have not disappointed. In May, Time reporter Suyan Haynes covered the Fridays for Future mass walkouts where hundreds of thousands of students left their schools and colleges to protest a lack of political movement on the climate crisis. This event didn't happen in a single country or on a single continent. It was a worldwide walkout, and it was inspired by a 16-year-old. Greta Thunberg is a Swedish teenager and activist who was recently profiled in Time as a next-generation leader, one of 9 people that they looked at who were going to change the future for our planet. Ms. Thunberg told Time, "This is not about truancy or civil disobedience. This is about climate and the ecological crisis, and people need to understand that." She's been putting her ideals to the test by living a lifestyle that is low impact on the environment. In fact, she's hitching a ride to New York City for the UN Climate Action Summit on a sailboat. She also has plans to attend another important climate conference in Chile, but no word yet on how she intends to get there. But you can rest assured, it won't be by plane. As Ms. Thunberg told Time, she does not fly because of the greenhouse gas emissions associated with air travel. Ms. Thunberg isn't the only young climate activist inspiring large youth movements. In the United States, Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez has joined with the youth-led Sunrise movement to promote what they're calling the Green New Deal. This is a proposal to address climate change in the same way Franklin Delano Roosevelt's administration dealt with the Great Depression in the 1930s, by a mass mobilization of the country's resources to tackle the problem. Journalist John Schwartz of the New York Times suggested another term for this type of problem-solving initiative, a moonshot. He wants to remind Americans of what we were capable of when we put our minds and our backs into it. Putting a man on the moon seemed like an impossible, fantastical feat. But our competition with and fear of the Soviet Union inspired Americans to attain the unattainable. Can activists like Ocasio-Cortez and Greta Thunberg inspire the world to do the same? Thunberg has said that now is when our future will be decided. The stakes are bigger, and the problem is more complex than the moon landing. But without a moonshot, the future isn't a place many of us would want to be. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week for Back to the Beat.